Hello and welcome to another Solana tutorial. Today we're gonna have a look at features and feature gates. I want to understand how that works on Solana, and really I want to be able to activate and deactivate features for local development. That's my real goal for today, because being able to play around with features might be very helpful, and we will need that for the next video that I have planned. So today we're just gonna analyze how we can play with Solana features. And maybe I give you the background. What is a feature? So obviously Solana, as this global state machine, needs to be consistent amongst all the validators. So all the validators must perform in the same way. Otherwise there's conflicts and then they say, no, what you're doing is wrong. So that's why there are rules. For instance, you cannot write to a read-only account. If a transaction doesn't flag the account as writable, then you can't write to it. And all the validators enforce that. Or you can't just credit lamperts to an account and say, yeah, I have those lamperts now. You might be able to write one validator that accepts it, but all the others will not. So we need to be consistent. However, there will be protocol changes. We might want to change how something works. And maybe those changes are increasing performance. They make stuff more efficient, but don't influence how the protocol behaves. Like it's still doing the same thing, just more efficient. But then there can be changes that do change how the protocol behaves. For instance, the token program would get updated, or if program accounts suddenly can be writable, or we add a core program, or any other feature that can potentially change the result of a transaction. So without that feature, a transaction might fail, and with that feature it might succeed, or something else might happen, even if it's just a different amount of compute that it uses or whatever. For those things, all of the validators need to agree when that change happens, when that feature gets activated. And for that we have the feature gates, where at the epoch boundary a feature is activated, and from that epoch on, the code now includes that feature. And before it included that feature, but it wasn't activated. I hope that made sense. So basically, features are something that breaks something or changes something in the protocol, and then feature gates we use to coordinate when a feature becomes active. Okay, with that definition out of the way, let's look at one specific one. I don't know which one, but let's come at it from a point of curiosity about program accounts and why they suddenly are writable. So on Solana, there are read-only accounts. For instance, the system program. You cannot write to the system program. And I found out that all program accounts are read-only accounts. You cannot make a program account writable. The runtime will stop you from doing that. If you have a transaction with a writable program account, the transaction will fail. That's how I remember it. But recently, we figured out that that must have changed. And listening to a Breakpoint talk, I think I know why they changed it, because they want to do loader v4, which allows you to close program accounts again. So somewhere on the way, they must have added a feature that enables program accounts to be writable. And we already saw that on chain that happens. And today I just want to have a closer look if that's actually the case, and then maybe, hopefully, find the feature that activated that to be able to simulate once it works and once it doesn't. That's my goal for today. So let's get started looking at features. Here we go. Okay, I want just a quick little demo program. It doesn't matter what it does. This is a program, Pinocchio Pro. They changed it again. It's address again. Maybe last time I just had an old version. Now it's also address in Pinocchio. Great. Account view is what they call it now. Okay. And do you really want Solana program log? That comes with so many dependent. Doesn't matter. It's just a demo program. It really doesn't matter. Just cargo, build SBF this. I'm not actually trying to run it. I just need to deploy it. And for that, I just need a... Oh, I'm missing this. There we go. Now I have an SO file. Okay. So let's see if I can get a program. PRG. Can I get a program pubkey? Pro G. I'll take it. I'm gonna copy this to my demo program, target, deploy, shalalalala, keep here. we need another key pair, the deployer. That starts with D. I should find that. There you go. Deploy. I'm gonna Solana config set. First we go to devnet and we set this key, this thing. Boom. Okay. Now, can I get an airdrop? There you go. I'm using the faucet. And now I'll just, as I usually do, say Solana program deploy my target deploy demo program SO. So I'm gonna deploy this Pinocchio program in 4 transactions to ProG. That's my program ID. Now, that's the setup. So far so good. Let's write a neat little kit script where we do the usual in our kit. Just I need the Solana kit and types node. There we go. We got the kit and should have that, hopefully. There we go. So just my classic script to send an instruction, and the instruction we're gonna send will be to my program. So that's the one that we just deployed here, the ProG. That's my program. I'm gonna call this one, and I'm not gonna provide data, but I'm gonna provide an account, again, the program itself, and the role writable. So this is where it gets interesting now. Can I do that? Because I used to think, no, I cannot, but recently I think I can again. So let's just try this. Let's see what happens if I call this writable program. The transaction includes an address which is both invoked and marked writable. Oh, there we have another program. It's invoked and marked writable. So I need to call another program. I'll just deploy another one. Give me a PR2. There we go. I'll copy this to my demo program target deploy demo program key pair. And then I deploy the same program to this address as well. Okay, it doesn't matter. It's just a small program. Because I need one program that I can call and one program that is a program address. There you go. My program 2 is another program address. So I'm gonna use the other program address in here, and I'm calling the first program with that other program as writable. Then we shouldn't get that program with it's both invoked and marked writable. How about now? There we go. Whoa, hey, we can send that transaction. This is a program, the ProG is being called. Looking at this on Explorer, I have this program account that is a program that is being invoked, and then I have this other program account that is also a program, but it is writable. I'm not doing anything with it. I'm not actually writing to it. I can't. I'm not the owner, or my program is not the owner of this one. The upgradable loader is. This is owned by the BPF upgradable loader. So it is a program that we can call. I mean, I could, for instance, I can put the other program address here as the program address and call and have the first program here would be same. Now we called the program number 2 with a ProG as a writable account. And see, that didn't work a year ago. Even 3 months ago, I think that still didn't work. It was relatively recently that they changed something. They must have changed something that I can do this now. Because I used to use that trick to, make an account a program account that this account cannot be writable anymore. It's read-only. We used the trick. Can I say that? I think it's fine to say that now that it doesn't work anymore anyway. We used to do this. That was our trick to mess with a scammer who was using our source code to do not so nice stuff. But he didn't really know what he was doing. He just cloned it. So he had all our addresses. So one of the addresses we just made to a program, and then he couldn't use it anymore. So that's how we protected against that. But recently we saw transactions coming through again from him, which means what we did there doesn't work anymore. Programs are now no longer read-only. We can have them writable. So that's new. And now I want to find out where that change comes from. But since I can't enable and disable features on DevNet, and certainly also not on mainnet, I will have to work with a local validator. So a local test validator we run with Solana test validator. There we go. It's been a while since I updated this. So this is still in version 2.2. Where are we actually in Solana features? Status, I think, was the command? No, feature status. On DevNet, we've got 98% of stake in version 3.1 and 2.2.2 this is where I am at 0%. So yeah, it's been a while since I updated my Solana CLI. Let's also check mainnet. Well, there's a bit more versions here, but still just less than 1% on my version. Some of them are on 4. Most of them are on 3.0 something. Yeah, so 3 points here. That's most of them. So yeah, I'm still at the very old version. The tool software version is this. But that's good, because it means my test validator is running in that version, and that means it might not have that feature enabled yet. So let's set our config to local and deploy my programs again. That's number 2. And then I need to copy the other one and deploy that as well. Now I have both of them deployed on local as well. Now if we change my RPC to local here in this script, and then I run this script, damn it, that also works. Damn, I was hoping that that just doesn't work yet. Okay, fine. Let's play stupid and just use a very old version of the Solana CLI and hope that that at some point does not have that feature. So we kill this. We are here. Do I have the Agave install? I do. Okay, I can init a release, which is the version or channel. Let's see what versions there are. The newest one is 3.1.5. The one I have is roughly 10 months old. 10 months ago, that really wasn't a thing though. 10 months ago, that still didn't work. Or maybe it did on I don't know. Okay, let's go further back. Let's go to a very old version. Maybe even a version of 1 dot something, 1.18.26. And we're extracting. There we go. We are actually running this Solana CLI version now. If I now say Solana test validator, oh, there's a different bank. So I think -r resets the ledger. There we go. Then we're actually running in this version, 1.18.26. And let's see here if that also still works. I mean, we reset the ledger. Of course, I need to deploy both of them again. That's a bit annoying. So let's do this. And then I think program ID was the thing from keys PR2. There we go. Now we deployed both of them. And then, damn it, then I can also call it. Well, I don't like this. Maybe I'm imagining that programs were always writable, but I don't think so. Okay, let's test something real quick. If I put the system program here I have the system program, then, okay, that's stupid. I'm fairly sure that that should not work. Since when can you make the system program writable? Hold on, something is fishy here. Really? I can mark the system program as writable? No, it's not writable. But I said that this should be writable. Who steals the writable flag? Does the kit do that? Uy, this is confusing. Can you print me this? This is my transaction. If I look at that in the inspector, it actually does list the system program as a writable account in the transaction. But then when I actually send it, it seems like it's not writable anymore. That's confusing. Yeah, here it says it's not writable. Maybe it was flagged writable, but then since I don't write to it, it ignores that. I mean, I have a program here anyway. Let's make sure that we get a writable account here. If accounts, the first one is not writable, just gonna error with a program error. Invalid argument, we said, is the one we should use here, right? Because something with the accounts is not correct. Build? Oh shit, now it, damn it. Now it builds it with a very old version. I don't like that. No, hold on. Before we do that, what did we have? 2.2.21. Anyway, let's update. Latest compatible release. Okay, then let's get the actual latest 3.1.5 while we're already downloading new versions. I don't want to deal with all the conflicts. I'm gonna just get the newest version now. Okay, and now if we build SPF, we also have to download the build SPF tools. And there I once made a video why it's so cool that we can compile Rust directly without having to go through that. You can watch that up here. That's exactly, here I need to download the Solana specific stuff. It's now no longer necessary to list this in the manifest. Great, now that I use the new version, I don't need this stupid line anymore. But yeah, okay. So I think I have the new program compiled now. Let's deploy it with deploying it to here. Now it's 9 transactions. So it's the new version. Perfect. And then deploying it to here, just in case both of them should get the new version. Good. And now we run this script again, where we basically just try and have the system program be writable. And there you go. It is not writable though. It's somewhere on the way it becomes not writable, but it's not flagged. Like it's not, I can still send the transaction. It's just being treated as not writable. I still sent the transaction with requesting it to be writable, so that's weird. I used to get a real runtime error here. Or maybe I also imagined that, but I think that I couldn't provide the system program writable. So anyway, if I provide the program address here, that is in fact writable. So a program address I can provide as writable and it will stay as writable. I will not be able to write to it, but it will still be writable. And while we're already here, let's try some fun stuff. What if I were to try to write to it, since it's writable, what does this point to then? Tries to get the mutable reference to account data. Okay, so it is the account data. So it's the same as try borrow data mutable in Anchor, I think. Let's just read the first byte. And can I then just write 42 into the first byte? And then we deploy to this. Actually, I'm gonna use this here now and another program address here, such that I only deploy this program. That should be enough. And then I call this and see what happens. What, that works? This should really not work. Did I deploy it? No, wait, did I deploy it? The Pro G, I deployed it. Oh, I deployed it, but I didn't build it before. Smart, classic. Okay, now rebuild, deploy, and then run. This should definitely not work. There we go. First byte is 2, so we can read it, but then instruction modified data of an account it does not own. Perfect, because we're not owning it. Like my program, the Pro G, is definitely not owning the other program, the Pro 2. But what if I'm like, never mind, that didn't happen, and I write to here the first byte again? What then if I build and deploy this and then run this, will you still tell me that I modified an account that I don't own? No, last time it did. This time it says, yeah, whatever, it's fine. See, it reads the first byte and that's fine with that. Now, one could argue that the compiler is like, well, you're writing something here, then you're writing the same thing as before in there, so that's stupid. I'm gonna optimize that part away because we don't need that. So let's say we're a smart compiler and we optimize that away and we build and deploy this just to compare. Last time we needed 312 compute units, and I would think that if the compiler wouldn't have put it in, it would be the same now. If I run it again, it now takes 309. So yes, it actually did that. That's 309 versus earlier we had 312. So that's 3 compute units for basically those 2 instructions. Load a 42 into a register, write the 42 into this, and then write that byte that is already stored in here into this. And we have that because we printed here, so it's already in register. So that's the 3 operations which make up 3 compute units. So it actually does that. I can actually write to that part in the memory if I then overwrite it again later. That is indeed fair game. For now, let me test something. I'm gonna put this back and build again. And then I'm gonna go back to my local test validator. I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna reset it. And it's now running in version 3.15. And then I'm gonna deploy my 2 programs there. That's number 1. And that's the other one, also deployed to local. Okay. And then we go to localhost with a script as well and do that here. Check this! Check this! Yo. Okay. Okay. See, that's fun. Here, all of a sudden, it is telling me instruction modified data of an account it does not own. Whereas if I do the same thing on DevNet, DevNet don't care. And that's because in this newest version, in version 3.1, there is a feature that forbids me to do that. But I only wanted to get there in the next video. I'm already spoiling stuff. But just because the thing that I wanted to do doesn't work as I thought. But that's fine. Let's backtrack. Let's go to my test validator. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna agave install init 2.3.13. How about this? I'm installing a lot of Solana CLI versions today. That's fine. Extracting. Okay, we're now in this version. So if I run the Solana test validator in this version and deploy my 2 programs there and then run this script. Interesting. It also tells me instruction modified data of an account it does not own. So it seems like I don't understand how those features work, because maybe they're independent of the version of my test validator. I don't know. Because why does it fail here but not on DevNet? Same thing on DevNet, just works. And even in this version, instruction changed. Wait, that's a different one. This one says instruction changed executable accounts data. Earlier it was instruction modified data of an account it doesn't own. So it is a difference. There is a difference. Here it says instruction changed executable accounts data. Let's go back to 3.1.13, or what do we have? 3.1.5, and restart the validator and deploy both of my programs and call that. Then it says modified data of an account it does not own. Okay, cool. So that's where we are. Now, let's look in our local test validator. That thing should have features. So Solana feature status. Ooh, Alpenglow must rekey inactive. There is already a feature for Alpenglow, the new consensus. Yeah, if you change the consensus, then you will need to feature gate that, yes. So, okay, so that's inactive. Alpenglow, the new consensus algorithm, not yet active. There's a bunch of others. Ooh, they did that now? The efficient token program is already a thing? Or, no, that's just on local. On local, I'm not sure. Is that, wait, can I check for mainnet? Efficient token program, no, that's inactive. Okay, so on mainnet, see, those were just activated. Static nonce account only. Interesting. Man, so many things are changing. There's so much that I can look into. Anyway, so yeah, some stuff got activated and there's a bunch of inactive features. So they will eventually be activated, probably, including Alpenglow or the more efficient token program. But if I run it on local, per default, all of the features are already activated, right? So for my local, all of the features are active since Epoch 0. All of those. A bunch of features. That is a bunch of features. Okay. Now I don't know which feature is responsible for that. And I'm not sure how I can deactivate them all. I can deactivate single things. Like for instance, if I don't want the efficient token program, I could just kill my test validator and say disable feature. This here, there. Nope, that's not what it was. Oh, deactivate feature. That's what it's called. Not disable, deactivate feature. And I need to have the -r because if the ledger already exists, it doesn't work. If I don't have that, then this is ignored because the ledger already exists. I could either manually remove the test ledger, then it would work, or I use -r for reset, then it also does that basically. Okay, so if I now check the status here, I see that those 2 are inactive because I set this one inactive. I don't know if there's a way for me to deactivate all of the features, which is what I would love to do right now, but I don't think I can. So I'll have to make an educated guess, I guess, based on those. Enable turbine, enforce padding, validator commission, raise account CU limit, disable, re-enable, fun. Enable fees for some additional transactions. Interesting. Nonce must be authorized. Also interesting. Nonce must be authorized. I kind of also want to look into that because I think that's a fix for something where I'm also like, weird that that was the case in the first place. Something like you can claim a nonce account if there's any account, any system program account with allocated data, you can make it a nonce account. You don't even need to own, like you don't even need to have any kind of authorization for that. Maybe that's what they added here, but that's details. Remove support for the native loader, remove delegation, vote state before, disable the deprecated BPF loader, loosen CPI size restrictions. Remove checks of accounts is executable flag. Interesting. I mean, that seems related. At least that's one, might be related. Here, this one, stricter ABI and runtime constraints. That's the one. That's the feature I'm looking for. This one. Found it. There's so many. Yeah, man, there's so many features. Okay, so let's start with this one. Simplified checks performed for writable, upgradable program accounts. This feature. I'm gonna restart my Solana test validator and deactivate this feature. Okay, that's step one. Step 2, I'm gonna deploy both of my programs again because I reset the ledger, so I need to redeploy. Cool. Step 3, I'm gonna see what happens if I call this. I still get the modified data of an account it does not own. Oh, it ignored that. Hold on. The deactivated feature was ignored because I didn't say reset. There you go. Always good to double check what features are actually inactive. So now this one is inactive. Okay, good. Now we redeploy again both programs as step 2 and step 3. Now we call this. And again, same thing. It doesn't change anything. The provided account is still writable. That still works. Honestly, I also don't know what the simplified checks performed for writable, upgradable program accounts does. But okay, let's go to the other one. Remove checks of accounts is executable flag. That's also an interesting one. But no, the one I was looking for was stricter ABI and runtime constraints. This one. The SIMD 219. We will have a closer look at that in the next video. But for now, let's just deactivate this feature as well. Check that it's actually deactivated. Okay, it is actually deactivated. Redeploy my programs, run this thing. And all of a sudden it worked. Look! Nice, nice. Here, with this feature disabled, it works. It works like a charm. There we go. We can write to that account and then write something that was there before, and the program don't care because we do not have the stricter ABI and runtime constraints yet. I disabled that feature, and that feature is also not yet active on DevNet. Yep, on DevNet that's inactive. Still inactive. But it's there. It will come at some point. With version 3.1, I think they will bring that in. So yeah, that is coming, and that will not be allowed anymore. Okay, fine. Cool. So I'm still a bit confused as to why I can put program addresses as writable. Maybe I'm hallucinating, but I really think that was not possible half a year ago. Half a year ago, the runtime would have complained and said, hey, this is not possible, go home. And maybe that came through a feature. Is there this can't be so difficult. Solana test validator disable all features. By default, it runs with all runtime features activated. You can disable them. But can I disable all of them? This is a classic use case for some text generation tools. Look, I'll provide you with a list of features. Here's the list. You think it will manage? It's just text generation. Let's go. Gonna deactivate all of the features and we will see where we go with this. Who needs features, right? We go back to cave times where we didn't have any features. Back to, what was that called? The origin, there's a word for that. Genesis, that's the one. Back to Genesis. Who needs all those features? I don't want to know what a breakthrough is. Probably a lot. But hey, I'm gonna just deactivate all of the features. Because the feature I'm looking for, I don't find. So that's a lot of features. A lot of features that were activated. Hook. Okay, we're getting there. The addresses are getting smaller. We are getting there. There we go. No, I don't want better results. This is just fine. Okay. Solana test validator. I'm gonna kill you. And then I'm gonna do this. Oh, yeah. Okay. Did that work? Look at all the inactive features. They're all disabled. Except for those two. Except for those two that I have already disabled because they were not in my... I did not copy them into my list. Okay. Oops. No, I also want to disable those. I want them all disabled. Damn it. This one, deactivate feature, this one, and this one. Oh, and reset. Now, yeah. Now they're all inactive. All of the features are inactive. Great. Okay, cool. Now we deploy both of our programs. And then we see what happens if I call this. It works. Okay, that's a bit boring. Already processed. Yeah, as I said, because it's quite boring, huh? Block hash not found. Great. I think I have something else broken now because I can't get the block hash anymore or whatever. But it seemed like in the very beginning it worked. Solana provided account is writable. Yeah, that seems okay. So even with all of the features disabled, maybe that was different. Maybe that check wasn't done through a feature. That's my guess now. Which is still weird. Still bothers me that I can't make that happen to prove to you that once, long time ago, we weren't able to do this. This guy is executable. It's owned by the BPF loader. And I can still put it in as a writable account. Yeah, so maybe that wasn't handled through a feature. I don't know for this specific use case. But the important thing that we learned is how we can, for local development, deactivate features or enable features, but they are enabled per default. So you just need to have the newest version, then you get all the features. So if you want to test stuff like this, which will fail if one of the newest features is activated, you just need to run the newest test validator. And if we have the features, so just Solana, test validator, reset, then it will give me the instruction modify data of an account it does not own. However, if I run the test validator with disable feature, the one from SIMD 219 with a stricter API and runtime constraints, there we go. If we deactivate this feature and redeploy our programs, and then we run this, then it works. And that was the important thing that I needed to figure out today. I'm fine with that. I know how features work. We managed to do this. That's the groundwork for the next video. I'm happy with that. I now found the thing that I will do in the next video. So good. Next video, spoiler alert, we will look at SIMD 219 and we will analyze what all those things are and specifically what you need to do or not do in your program such that it doesn't just fail. Because as we saw, without that feature, my program runs normally. But with that feature, it will suddenly crash or error. And you don't want that. You don't want your program to suddenly error when for the past few years it didn't. So yeah, we will need to have a look at this SIMD in more detail. I will do so in the next video. Until then, you can watch some others. Like this if you enjoyed it and now know how features work. Great, we now know how features work. It's a bit complicated, admittedly. To find the right feature that you're looking for is the challenge. But if you know what feature you are looking for, then it should be fairly straightforward. Just go to the newest version of the Solana CLI. Don't bother with old versions and deactivate the features that you don't want to have. Or work with all of the features, which is usually what you want to do. Because eventually all of those features will come. Even Alpenglow, I hope. Okay, yeah, anyway, so we learned stuff, we made a video, we have more videos to watch. You can subscribe, and then you'll see me in the next one for SIMD 219 Deep Dive. It's gonna be fun, I hope. We'll see. Features, man. Yeah, you gotta add features to improve. I mean, stuff is changing, therefore we need feature gates. And you can already test your programs with features from the future that are not actually live yet. Now you know how. Just use the most up-to-date test validator. Because even DevNet is behind on this. DevNet is a little bit before mainnet, but still behind. Testnet might be further, but they don't want to develop on testnet. So that's no. They do some weird stuff there. Anyway, yeah, good enough for me. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.